Hello everyone, this is our second lecture in the fourth module of number theory, and today we are going to continue quadratic reciprocity law. We have seen different results in this chapter in our previous lecture, but this is the continuation of that chapter only, and we are going to see some more results here. So these are the points which we are going to discuss today. First of all, we are going to see Legendre symbol. First we will define Legendre symbol, and then we will state and prove some properties of Legendre symbol. Then we are going to see some important results regarding this, and then problems on finding value of a Legendre symbol, how to solve Legendre symbol, how to find the value, and then finally we will see quadratic reciprocity law. So let's see. Let us know something about a Legendre symbol, how it started. So as the name suggests that the symbol was first introduced by Legendre. So let us read something which formed the basis for this Legendre symbol. So Euler's studies on quadratic residues were further studied and developed by French mathematician Legendre. We have already seen many results given by Euler in number theory. Then in quadratic residues also we have seen results by Euler. So those studies of Euler in quadratic residues, they were furthered by Legendre. And when we talk about this Legendre symbol, then it is denoted like this within bracket A oblique P. Here we call this A as the numerator and P as the denominator. So many things get simplified when we use this symbol, and this symbol was introduced by Legendre in his SI. SI is the first modern treatise devoted to number theory, which appeared in 1798. This is a book by Legendre, and it is called SI. So this symbol was introduced in this SI first time. So let us define Legendre symbol. Let P be an odd prime and let A be relatively prime to P. GCD of A and P is 1. The Legendre symbol A oblique P or A upon P, we can say A is defined by A upon P is equal to 1. This symbol has value 1. If A is a quadratic residue of P, and this has value -1 if A is a quadratic non-residue of P. We have already seen quadratic residue and quadratic non-residue of a prime. So here we are saying that this symbol has value 1 if A is quadratic residue of P and the value is -1, A is quadratic non-residue of P. That means it's not a quadratic residue of P. Other notations of Legendre symbol are like this, A upon P, or like this. So they are just different notations. This A is called the numerator and P is termed as the denominator of this symbol. Let us see this example. Suppose P is 13. We already know that the quadratic residues of 13 are 1, 3, 4, 9, 10, 12. We have already found these residues in the previous lecture. You can see the lecture 1 in the fourth module, and you will find how to calculate the quadratic residues, how to find residues of a prime number. So 13 has these quadratic residues 1, 3, 4, 9, 10 and 12, and the numbers which are left, they will be the non-residues. So 2, 5, 6, 7, 8, 11. They are quadratic non-residues of 13. So therefore, by using the Legendre symbol, we can write this 1 upon 13, 3 upon 13 because they are residues. So 1 upon 13, 3 upon 13, 4 upon 13, 9 upon 13, 10 upon 13 and 12 upon 13. They all have value 1 because these all are the residues, quadratic residues of 13, and they are non-residues of 13. Therefore 2 upon 13 will be -1, 5 upon 13 is -1, and they all have value -1. So in this way we write the values of Legendre symbol. Let us see the properties of Legendre symbol. Let P be a odd prime and let A be integer relatively prime to P. Then the Legendre symbol has following properties. First property says that if A is congruent to P modulo P, then A upon P same as B upon P. That is the Legendre symbol A upon P will have the same value as B upon P. The value of Legendre symbol A square upon P is equal to 1. A upon P is congruent to A to the power P minus 1 upon 2 modulo P. AB upon P is equal to A upon P into B upon P. 1 upon P is 1 and minus 1 upon P is minus 1 to the power P minus 1 upon 2. AB square upon P will be A upon P into B square upon P, which is equal to A upon P. So we are going to prove all these properties. So first of all, we have to show that if A and B are congruent modulo P, then A upon P is equal to B upon P. So let A is congruent to B modulo P. Then x square congruent to A modulo P and x square congruent to B modulo P have the same solutions because A and B are congruent. So if I say x square congruent to A mod P has some solution and x square congruent to B mod P has some solution, then they have same solution because A is congruent to B. So if there is any solution, that will be the same solution. Thus x square congruent to A modulo P and x square congruent to B modulo P are both solvable and neither one has a solution. Either they both are solvable or neither one has a solution. So that means the value of the symbol A upon P will be same as B upon P. So what is A upon P? The symbol denotes that we have to solve this congruous x square congruent to A modulo P. And if we can solve this x square congruent to A modulo P, then the symbol has value 1. Like let us see the definition again. We are saying that A upon P, this symbol has value 1 if A is a quadratic residue of P. And A is a quadratic residue of P if x square congruent to A modulo P has a solution. And A is a quadratic non-residue of P, that means x square congruent to A modulo P has no solution. So we are using this thing here. A is congruent to B, so both of these congruences, they have same solution if any, and so they both are solvable. Either both are solvable or no one has a solution. So that means these symbol have same values. Now let us see second part. Here in the second part, we have to prove that A square upon P. This Legendre symbol has value 1. Now, let us see this congruence x square congruent to A square modulo P. We have to find this x square congruent to A square modulo P. So this value has 1. That means this A square is the quadratic residue of P. So the congruence this is trivially satisfied by x is equal to A. If I substitute x is equal to A, then A square is congruent to A square. So therefore A square is a trivial solution. Therefore A square is a quadratic residue of P and hence this symbol has value 1. So this is easily done. Let us see the C part. Here we have to prove that A upon P is equal to A to the power. It is congruent to A to the power P minus 1 upon 2 modulo P. So by Euler's criteria, we know that A is a quadratic residue of P if and only if A to the power P minus 1 upon 2 is congruent to 1 modulo P. We have seen Euler's criteria in lecture 1 of this module. So Euler's criteria says that A is a quadratic residue of P if and only if A to the power P minus 1 upon 2 is congruent to 1 modulo P. Or we can say that the Legendre symbol A upon P is 1 if and only if A to the power P minus 1 upon 2 is equal to 1. So what does that mean? That means A upon P is equal to A to the power P minus 1 upon 2 modulo P. Let us see the fourth part. Here we have to show that AB upon P is same as A upon P into B upon P. So from part C, we know that AB upon P will be AB to the power P minus 1 upon 2 modulo P. And this can be written as A to the power P minus 1 upon 2 into B to the power P minus 1 upon 2. And what is this? This is A upon P and this is your P upon P by part C. Now we have shown that this is congruent to A upon P into B upon P modulo P. but we have to show that they are equal. Now Legendre symbol assumes only the values 1 and minus 1. We know by definition that Legendre symbol has only two values, either 1 or minus 1. Either the congruence is solvable or not, either residue or non-residue. So the Legendre symbol assumes only two values 1 and minus 1. If AB upon P is not equal to A upon P into B upon P, we would have 1 is equal to 1 congruent to minus 1, because the symbol has only two values, either 1 or minus 1. If we are saying that this is not equal to left hand side is not equal to right hand side, that means this is the possibility 1 is congruent to minus 1 modulo P. Or if I take minus 1 on the left hand side, then 2 is congruent to 0 modulo P, which is impossible because our P is greater than 2. P is an odd prime. So this is not possible, and hence these two sides should be equal. So AB upon P is same as A upon P into B upon P. Now the last part here, 1 upon P is equal to 1 and minus 1 upon P is equal to minus 1 to the power P minus 1 upon 2. So from the second part we know that A square upon P is 1. So if A is equal to 1, then 1 upon P is equal to 1. So we are done. This thing is done. Now from third part, that is part C, we know that A upon P is congruent to A to the power P minus 1 upon 2 modulo P. So if we substitute A is equal to minus 1, then minus 1 upon P will be minus 1 to the power P minus 1 upon 2. Now this property F, it comes trivially from B and D. So here we have to show that A into B square upon P, the Legendre symbol A B square upon P is equal to A upon P into P square upon P equals to A upon P. So this can be done from part B. So this is the product of A and B square. So I can just write it as A upon P into B square upon P. And this B square upon P, this has value 1. So this is equal to A upon P. So from this property F, we can say that a square factor, a square factor that is relatively prime to P can be deleted from the numerator of the Legendre symbol without affecting its value. So we have removed this here and this is equal to A. So when we are solving any problems on Legendre symbol, then we can use it. This is the corollary. If P is an odd prime, then minus 1 upon P, the Legendre symbol minus 1 upon P will have value 1 if P is congruent to 1 modulo 4, and this has value minus 1 if P is congruent to 3 modulo 4. We know that prime numbers, they are of the form either 4k plus 1 or this is 4k plus 3, two forms. Because we are talking about odd primes, so it is either 4k plus 1 or 4k plus 3. So if it is 4k plus 1, that is congruent to 1 modulo 4, then this Legendre symbol minus 1 upon P has value 1. And if the prime is congruent to 3 modulo 4, then this symbol has value minus 1. We have already seen a result that the quadratic congruence x square congruent to minus 1 modulo P has a solution for an odd prime P if and only if P is of the form 4k plus 1. So this has value 1. That means the quadratic congruence x square congruent to minus 1 has a solution if and only if the prime is of the form 4k plus 1, or we can say P is congruent to 1 modulo 4. And other than this, the other form is P is congruent to 3 modulo 4. So no solution, that means this has value minus 1. So this is the corollary. We will use this in the questions. Now let us see this example. We have to check whether the congruence x square congruent to minus 46 modulo 17 is solvable or not. So x square congruent to minus 46 modulo 7. That means the Legendre symbol is minus 46 upon 17. We have to calculate the value of this symbol. So if the value is 1, then this congruence is solvable, and if the value is minus 1, that means this congruence is not solvable. So let us see. Minus 46 upon 17 can be written as minus 46. Minus 46 can be written as minus 1 into 46. So this is equal to minus 1 upon 17 into 46 upon 17. Now minus 1 upon P, which is equal to minus 1 to the power P minus 1 upon 2. and this is 46 upon 17. So minus 1 to the power 17 minus 1 upon 2 will be 16 upon 2, that is 8. So this will be 1. So we are left with 46 upon 17. Now what is 46 under modulo 17? 46 under modulo 17 is 12. So this is equal to 12 upon 17, and 12 can be written as 3 into 4, and 4 is 2 square. So this is equal to 3 upon 17 into 2 square upon 17, and 2 square upon 17 is 1, because we have already seen that square of any number here, square of a number which is relatively prime to the denominator, then we can delete that thing. So this will be equal to 3 upon 17, and 3 upon 17 will be congruent to 3 to the power 17 minus 1 upon 2, that is 3 to the power 8, and this is congruent to minus 1 modulo 17. That means this congruence has no solution, or it is not solvable. So this is the result we have used. Now we have to show that in this theorem there are infinitely many primes of the form 4k plus 1. In our initial lectures we have proved one of the theorem that says that there are infinitely many primes of the form 4k plus 3. So here we are proving there are infinitely many primes of the form 4k plus 1. We did not prove this theorem in that chapter. Now we are going to show it using the results which we have here in this chapter. So first of all, we are going to prove it by contradiction. So suppose that there are finitely many primes of this form. Suppose that there are finitely many primes of the form 4k plus 1, and let us call them p1, p2, pn. Now consider this integer. N is equal to 2 p1, p2, pn whole square plus 1. Now clearly n is odd because this is of this form. Square of this number plus 1, so this is odd. So clearly n is odd. So there is some odd prime p such that p divides n, because this is odd. So there exists some odd prime p which divides n, or we can say that 2 p1 p2 p square whole square, this number is congruent to minus 1 modulo p, because p is dividing n. So if I am taking modulo p of this number, so this will be congruent to 0 modulo p, or we can say this thing 2 p1 p2 pn whole square is congruent to minus 1 modulo p. So this is written here. Or what does this mean? We can say in terms of Legendre symbol, we can say that minus 1 upon p is 1, because this number 2 p1 p2 pn, if I say x square is congruent to a modulo p, then this is the value of x. That means this Legendre symbol minus 1 upon p has a value 1. But the relation minus 1 upon p is equal to 1 holds only if p is of the form 4k plus 1. Hence p is one of the primes pi, and this implies that pi divides this n minus 2 p1 p2 pn whole square, and this implies that pi divides 1, which is a contradiction, and hence there are infinitely many primes of this form. Let's see this another important result. Here if p is an odd prime, then we have to show that summation of all the Legendre symbols, all the values of Legendre symbol, that is a upon p summation a is equal to 1 to p minus 1, this is equal to 0, and hence there are precisely p minus 1 upon 2 quadratic residues and p minus 1 upon 2 quadratic non-residues, because a upon p has only two values, either 1 or minus 1, and if we are saying that the summation of a upon p is 0, that means there are equal number of ones and minus ones. So that means there are precisely p minus 1 upon 2 quadratic residues and p minus 1 upon 2 non-residues of p. Let us prove it. Let R be a primitive root of P. We know that modulo P, the powers are R square, R to the power P minus 1 are just a permutation of the integers 1, 2, 3, P minus 1. We have seen this thing when we were taking the primitive roots in our earlier lecture. lecture on primitive roots. So we know that modulo p, if I take modulo p of these powers, r is primitive root, and I take r square, r cube, r to the power p minus 1, and we take under modulo p, then they are nothing but they are the permutation of the numbers 1, 2, 3 up to p minus 1 in some order. So thus for any a lying between 1 and p minus 1, 1 and p minus 1 inclusive, there exists a unique positive integer k such that a is congruent to r to the power k. This r to the power k, if I take r to the power k, k from 1 to p minus 1, then that is congruent to a. Okay, so a is lying between 1 to p minus 1. So the thing which we are saying here, that just we are writing that in symbols here in these lines. So a is congruent to r to the power k mod p, or k line 1 to p minus 1. So by Euler's criteria, we have a upon p is equal to r to the power k upon p, and this is equal to r to the power k to the power p minus 1 upon 2. So this can be written as r to the power p minus 1 upon 2 whole power k. Suppose this is first, where r is the primitive root of p and r to the power p minus 1 upon 2 is congruent to minus 1 modulo p. But a upon p and minus 1 to the power k are equal to either 1 or minus 1. This has valued only two values, 1 or minus 1, and this also has only two values, 1 or minus 1, so that the equality holds in equation 1. This equation means equality holds in the equation. Now add up the Legendre symbol in the question to get summation of a upon p is equal to summation minus 1 to the power k, k is equal to 1 to p minus 1. And if you expand this, we will get 0. So we have proved here that summation a upon p, a line from 1 to p minus 1, then this comes out to be 0. That is very important result. Now we have corollary. The quadratic residues of an odd prime p are congruent modulo p to the even powers of a primitive root r of p. Let us read it carefully again. The quadratic residues of an odd prime p are congruent modulo p to the even powers of a primitive root r of p, and quadratic non-residues are congruent to the odd powers of r. So this is also very important corollary coming from the theorem. So, let's see this example, then you will get to know what the corollary is saying. Let p is 13 again, and given that 2 is a primitive root of 13, we have shown here, we have seen this already in the previous lecture, that 2 is a primitive root of 13. So we have to find the quadratic residues and quadratic non-residues of 13. So it is given to you that 2 is primitive root of 13. Then find out the quadratic residues and non-residues of 13. So because 2 is primitive root, therefore quadratic residues of 13 are the even powers of 2. Let us find even powers of 2. 2 square, 2 to the power 4, 2 to the power 6, 2 to the power 8, 2 to the power 10, and up to 2 to the power 12. Because p is 13. So up they are going up to p minus 1. So all these powers we can calculate under modulo 13. So we have 4, 3, 12, 9, 10 and 1. So they are quadratic residues of 13. And what are the non-residues of 13? So we take all odd powers of 2. 2 to the power 1, 2 cube, 2 to the power 5, 2 to the power 7, 2 to the power 9 and 2 to the power 11 under modulo 13. So non-residues are 2, 8, 6, 11, 5 and 7. So this is how we find residues and non-residues if a primitive root is given. Let's see, this is Gauss lemma. Gauss lemma says that let P be an odd prime and A and P are relatively prime if n denotes the number of integers in this set. We are taking a set S given by A, 2A, 3A up to P minus 1 upon 2 into A. So there is a set S, and we are saying that n denotes the number of integers in this set whose remainders upon division by P exceeds P upon 2. What we are doing? We are dividing these numbers by P and checking the remainder. So if the remainder exceeds P upon 2, then we are counting all those numbers. So suppose the number of those integers is n. Then if n is denotes the number of integers in this set, whose remainders upon division by p exceeds p by 2, then Gauss lemma says that a upon p, this Legendre symbol, has value minus 1 to the power n. If n is 2, then this is minus 1 squared. So whatever the n is, then a upon p is given by minus 1 to the power n. This is one of the important result in when we talk about this Legendre symbol. But when we find the value of a particular Legendre symbol, then this method which is given in the proof of Gauss lemma, that is not very much useful. So we are not going to prove this Gauss lemma. Just you see this result, and we are going to just explain it with the help of an example. So although Gauss lemma gives us the quadratic character of an integer, but it is not useful as a computational device. Let us see this example. P is 13 again, K is 5, then P minus 1 upon 2 will be 12 upon 2, which is 6. Therefore, the set S is A to A, that is 5, 5 into 2, 5 into 3, 5 into 4, 5 into 5, 5 into 6, up to P minus 1 upon 2. A into P minus 1 upon 2, that is up to 30. Now, if we take modulo 13 of these integers, let us take modulo 13 of these integers. Then 5 modulo 13 is 5, 10 modulo 13 is 10, 15 modulo 13 is 2, 20 modulo 13 is 7, 25 modulo 13 is 12, and 30 modulo 13 is 4. So, 3 of these are greater than 13 upon 2. 13 upon 2 is 6.5. So, let us check what are the values which are greater than 6.5. So, 10, 7 and 12. They are greater than 6.5. Therefore, n is equal to 3 because they are 3 in number, 10, 7 and 12. So, n is 3. That means the Gauss lemma, by Gauss lemma, this Legendre symbol 5 upon 13 has value minus 1 to the power 3, and which is minus 1. So this is the method which is given in Gauss lemma. Gauss lemma helps us to determine which primes have 2 as a quadratic residue, and that is given in the next result. Here, when we see this theorem, this is proved only when Gauss lemma is given. Gauss lemma is useful here. If P is an odd prime, then 2 upon P, this Legendre symbol, has value 1 if P is congruent to 1 modulo 8 or P is congruent to 7 modulo 8. Either P is congruent to 1 modulo 8 or P is congruent to 7 modulo 8. In both the cases, 2 upon P has value 1. And 2 upon P has value minus 1 if P is congruent to 3 modulo 8 or P is congruent to 5 modulo 8. This is the corollary of this theorem. If P is an odd prime, then 2 upon P is equal to minus 1 to the power P square minus 1 upon 8. This is another theorem. If P and 2P plus 1 are both odd primes, then the integer minus 1 to the power P square minus 1 upon 2 into 2, this is a primitive root of 2P plus 1. So let's see the example for this theorem. The primes 11, 59 and 107 and 179, they have 2 as a primitive root, and the integer minus 2 is a primitive root for 7, 23, 47 and 167. So let us see how to solve a Legendre symbol. We are going to solve these symbols, and we'll use different methods or different results which we have seen. So first is 19 upon 23. Let us see how to solve it. 19 upon 23. So 19 is congruent to minus 4 under modulo 23. So 19 upon 23 is equal to minus 4 upon 23. And minus 4 can be written as 1 into 2 square. And we have seen if we that this a square upon b, this is equal to 1. So this will be equal to minus 1 upon 23. And minus 1 upon 23, this is equal to minus 1 to the power p minus 1 upon 2. So this is 22 upon 2, which is 11. So this is equal to minus 1. Next is minus 23 upon 59. So minus 23 can be written as minus 23 plus 59. So which is 36. That means under modulo 59, this is 36. So this is equal to 6 into 6 upon 59 and a square upon b. So this is 1. 20 upon 31, 20 can be written as 2 square into 5. So 2 square upon 31 will be 1. So we are left with 5 upon 31, and 5 is congruent to 36 modulo 31, which is again a square upon p. So this has value 1. 18 upon 43. So 18 is 2 into 3 square. So again 3 square upon 43 will be 1. So this is 2 upon 43. And again 43 is congruent to uh, this p. 43 is congruent to 3 modulo 8. This is 5 into 8 plus 3. So this is congruent to 3 modulo 8. And therefore this 2 upon 43 is minus 1. And hence 18 upon 43 is minus 1. So here in these Legendre symbols, we have to use Gauss lemma to compute the values. So in each case, we have to obtain the integer n for which a upon p is minus 1 to the power n. So first is 8 upon 11. Let us use Gauss lemma. Now 8 upon 11. So first of all find p minus 1 upon 2. P is 11. So p minus 1 upon 2 will be 5, and p upon 2 is 5.5. So let us find, just write the set S where we have a, then this 8 into 2, 2a, then 3a, 4a, and 5. Because p minus 1 upon 2 is 5. So we will go up to 5a only. So 40. Now when we divide them by 11, then when we divide them 11, then what are the remainders? So remainders are 8, 5, 2, 9, 7 modulo 11. Then check the values which are greater than p by 2, that is greater than 5.5. Then 8, 9, 7, these three values are greater than p upon 2. That means n is 3. So the Legendre symbol 8 upon 11 has value minus 1 to the power 3. That is minus 1. So this is how we use Gauss lemma. Next part, we are going to proceed the same way. P minus 1 upon 2 here is 6 because P is 13. So P upon 2 is 6.5. So the set S will be A, 2A, 3A, 4A, 5A, 6A because this is 6. So 6 into 7 is 42, up to 42. Then under modulo 13, what are the remainders? 7, 1, 8, 2, 9, 3. Then check the values which are greater than P by 2. So 7, 8, 8, 9, they are greater than 6.5. That means n is 3. So the value of this symbol is minus 1. Similarly here 5 upon 19. So for 19, p minus 1 upon 2 is 9. So and p upon 2 is 9.5. So write the set S. So 5 to 45, these are the numbers. Then under modulo 19, we can find the remainders. Then check the values which are greater than 9.5. So here 4 values are greater than 9.5. That means n is 4. So the value of this Legendre symbol 5 upon 19 is 1. Let us see one more question. Here we have to prove that 2 is not a primitive root of any prime of this form. 3 into 2 to the power n plus 1 except when p is equal to 13. So 2 is not a primitive root of any of the prime which is of this form except 13. So 13 will come when n is 2. So 2 in 2 to the power 2 will be 4, 4 3 is 12, 12 plus 1 is 13. So except this is the exceptional when n is 2. So let us see how to solve it. Now, so we have to prove that 2 is not a primitive root. That means 2 is a quadratic residue. So show that 2 is a quadratic residue of p and so cannot be a primitive root. So for p minus 1, so p minus 1 is equal to 3 into 2 to the power n, because p is 3 into 2 to the power n plus 1. So what p minus 1 will be this. So p minus 1 is congruent to 0 modulo 8 whenever n is greater than equal to 3. If I take n is equal to 3, then 2 to the power 3 will be 8. And then greater than 3, 4, 5, 6 everywhere, it will be congruent to 0 modulo 8. So p minus 1 is congruent to 0 modulo 8. Therefore, for n greater than equal to 3, p is congruent to 1 modulo 8. So 2 upon p, this Legendre symbol has value 1. Therefore, for n greater than equal to 3, 2 is a quadratic residue because 2 upon p is 1. That means 2 is a quadratic residue of p whenever n is greater than equal to 3. Therefore, it is not a primitive root of p. Now, because this is the case when n is greater than equal to 3. Consider when n is equal to 1 and 2. Let us see what happens when n takes the value 1 and 2. So for n is equal to 1, p is 3 into 2 plus 1, which is 3 to the 6 plus 1, that is 7. Therefore, p is congruent to 7 modulo 8. Therefore, 2 upon p is 1. That means 2 is a quadratic residue, and so 2 cannot be a primitive root. So this is done here. Now for n is equal to 2. So p will be 3 into 2 square plus 1, which is 13. Therefore, p is congruent to 5 modulo 8. Therefore, 2 upon p is minus 1. So here you can see here that we were saying that p is congruent to 7 modulo 8. Therefore, 2 upon p is 1. Here we are using the result. Let me show you again here. This 2 upon p is 1 if p is congruent to 1 modulo 8 or 7 modulo 8, and it is minus 1 if p is congruent to 3 modulo 8 or 5 modulo 8. We are using this theorem in those questions. So let us move to that question again. Yeah, we were considering this n is equal to 2. So p is 13, therefore p is congruent to 5 modulo 8. Therefore, this symbol has value minus 1. That means 2 is not a quadratic residue of p, and therefore 2 is a non-primitive root. And we have already seen that 2 is a primitive root of 13. Therefore, for n is greater than equal to 1, but n is not equal to 2. If p is equal to 3 into 2 to the power n plus 1 is prime, then 2 is not a primitive root of p. So we are done. Now we have quadratic reciprocity law. So if p and q are distinct odd primes, then p upon q into q upon p. So we are talking about the Legendre symbol from the starting. Now we are saying that we have two primes p and q, distinct odd primes. Then how their symbols p upon q and q upon p, they are related. So p upon q into q upon p will be minus 1 to the power p minus 1 upon 2, q minus 1 upon 2. This is the corollary to this result. If p and q are distinct odd primes, then p upon q into q upon p will be 1 if p is congruent to 1 modulo 4 or congruent to and this is minus 1 if p is congruent to q is congruent to 3 modulo 4. So this is 1 if p is congruent to 1 modulo 4. So p or q both, any of them is congruent to 1 modulo 4, then this has value 1. And this is minus 1 if p and q both are congruent to 3 modulo 4. So this is the difference. Now this is second corollary, p and q distinct odd primes, then the symbol p upon q is equal to q upon p if p is congruent to 1 modulo 4 or q is congruent to 1 modulo 4, and this is equal to minus q upon p if p is congruent to q is congruent to 3 modulo 4. Now we have to solve this Legendre symbol 29 upon 53. Now 29 and 53. Let us check under modulo 4. So 29 is 1 under modulo 4 and 53 is also congruent to 1 modulo 4. Therefore 29 upon 53 can be written as 53 upon 29. And 53 under modulo 29 will be 24. So this is equal to 24 upon 29. Then 24 can be written as 2 into 3 into 4. So this is equal to 2 upon 29, 3 upon 29 into 4 upon 29. Then again 4 is 2 square. So this can be deleted. So we have 2 upon 29 into 3 upon 29. Now 2 upon 29 is equal to minus 1. And because since 29 is congruent to 5 modulo 8, therefore this is minus 1. And 3 upon 29 can be written as 29 upon 3, which is equal to 2 upon 3, and this is minus 1. Therefore 29 upon 53 is equal to 2 upon 3 into 3, 2 upon 29 into 3 upon 29. That means minus 1 into minus 1. So this is 1. Now we have this theorem. If p is not equal to 3, it is an odd prime, then 3 upon p is 1 if p is congruent to plus minus 1, either 1 or minus 1 modulo 12, and it is minus 1 if p is congruent to plus minus 5 modulo 12. Let us consider this example. We have to find the congruence with composite modulus. Here modulus 1357, x square is congruent to 196 modulo 1357. So 1357 can be written as 23 into 59. Therefore, this congruence which is given x square is congruent to 196 modulo 1357. This is solvable if and only if both of these congruences are solvable. X square congruent to 196 modulo 23 and x square congruent to 196 modulo 59, because 1357 is the product of these two numbers. So this congruence is solvable if and only if these two are solvable. So let us find the value of 196 upon 23. So this is solvable. That means we have to find the value of 196 upon 23, and that should be 1. And 196 upon 59. This is solvable when the symbol is 1. So let us check 196 upon 23. So this is equal to 12 upon 23, and we are taking under modulo 23. 196 will be 12. So this is equal to 3 upon 23, and which is equal to 1. Therefore, x square is congruent to 196 modulo 23 has a solution. Now let us see another symbol, 196 upon 59. This is equal to 19 upon 59, and this is equal to minus 59 upon 19, and this is equal to minus 2 upon 19, and which is minus 1 into minus 1, which is plus 1. Therefore, this another congruence is also solvable, and hence, because we have seen that both of them are solvable, therefore the original congruence x square congruent to 196 modulo 1357 is also solvable. Now, so we have seen that the congruence is solvable. Now to find the solution. To find a solution of x square congruent to 196 congruent to 12 modulo 23 is satisfied by x is congruent to 9 and 14 modulo 23. This you can find easily the solution of this, because in the previous lecture we have seen how to find the solution of a quadratic congruence. So x is equal to 9 and 14. This is the solution of this congruence. And for x square congruent to 196, that is 19 modulo 59. X is 14 and 45. These are the solution. So we can use the Chinese remainder theorem now to obtain the simultaneous solution of the four systems, because we have taken the two congruences here. First is x square congruent to 196 under modulo 23, and another is x square congruent to 196 modulo 59. So x has two values from here and two values from this congruence. So if I want to find the solution of the original congruence, which is modulus of 23 into 59, so we have to solve the simultaneous solution of these four systems. So what we are going to take, these four systems, x is congruent to 14, here 14 modulo 23, and from here 14 modulo 59. Then second is 14 and 45, that is x is 14 and x is 45 modulo 59. Then 9 and 14, so x is congruent to 9 modulo 23, x is congruent to 14 modulo 59, and finally 9 and from here 9 and from here 45. So x congruent to 9 modulo 23 and x is congruent to 45 modulo 59. So we can solve these four systems, and hence x is congruent to 14, 63, 635, 722 and 1343 under modulo 1357 are the desired solutions of the given quadratic congruence. So this is a different type of example where we have used Chinese remainder theorem, and then how to solve quadratic congruence, which we have solved in chapter 1 of this module. Now this is another question. This is also an important question. We have seen a question of this type in our lecture on primitive roots. So here, if fn is a number of this form and it is a prime, then we have to show that the integer 3 serves as a primitive root of any prime of this type. So we have already proved earlier that 2 is not a primitive root of fn. We have seen already that 2 is not a primitive root of fn. You can see that lecture on primitive roots. But now we are going to see that 3 is a primitive root of this number. Now, we can easily see that fn is a number of the form 12k plus 5. Let us see what is f2. F2 will be 2 to the power 2 square plus 1. So this is 17 can be written as 12 into 1 plus 5, and F3 will be 12 into 21 plus 5. So in this way we can say that Fn is a number of this type, 12k plus 5. And by induction we can verify that 4 to the power m is congruent to 4 modulo 12 for m is equal to 1, 2 and so on. So therefore Fm is equal to 2 to the power 2 to the power n plus 1 equals to 2 to the power 2m plus 1, and this 2 to the power 2m will be 4 to the power m plus 1, and because 4 to the power m is congruent to 4 modulo 12, so this will be congruent to 4 plus 1, that is 5 modulo 12. Now we know that if p is not equal to 3 and odd prime, then 3 upon p is minus 1 if and only if p is plus minus 5 modulo 12. And here Fn is a prime and it is not equal to 3, and therefore 3 upon Fn has value minus 1. So this implies that 3 to the power Fn minus 1 upon 2 is minus 1 modulo Fn, and this implies that 3 to the power, what is Fn minus 1? Fn minus 1 will be phi of Fn because Fn is a prime. So Fn minus 1 is phi Fn. So 3 to the power phi Fn upon 2 is congruent to minus 1. This implies that 3 to the power phi Fn is congruent to 1 modulo Fn. So 3 has order phi Fn, that means 3 is the primitive root of Fn. So for if the order of 3, so here we have seen that the phi Fn power of 3 is congruent to 1 mod Fn. So if we take any other number which is less than phi of Fn, that is if the order of 3 were a proper divisor of phi of Fn, that is 2 to the power 2 to the power n, then it would also divide phi of Fn upon 2, and that would imply that 3 to the power phi Fn upon 2 is congruent to 1 modulo Fn, which is a contradiction, and that means the order can be phi of Fn only. That means 3 is a primitive root of Fn. So we have done this. Now these are some other Legendre symbols. We have to solve them. Let us see how to do that. So 17 upon 73. So 71 it's congruent to minus 1 modulo 4, and 73 is also congruent to 1 modulo 4. That means 71 upon 73 can be reversed and written as 73 upon 71, and 73 is can be written as 71 plus 2. So that is equal to 2 upon 71, and therefore 71 is congruent to 7 modulo 8. That means 2 upon 71 has value 1. Therefore this symbol, Legendre symbol, has value 1. Next, minus 219 upon 383. So 219 is equal to 3 into 73, and 383 is congruent to 3 modulo 4. Therefore minus 219 upon 383 will be minus 1 into 3 into 73. So this is equal to minus 1 into minus 383 upon 3, because this 3 upon 383 can be reversed, 383 upon 3. So minus 1 for that, and then 383 upon 73. This one. So this is equal to 2 upon 3 under modulo 3. You could take this, then under modulo 73 for this. This is equal to this. Then this 18 can be written as 9 into 2. So 3 square into 2. This 2 upon 3 will be minus 1, and from here 3 square upon 73 can be deleted. So this is equal to minus 2 upon 73, and this is minus 1, as 73 is congruent to 1. So this symbol has value minus 1. And then this is 461 upon 773. So 461 is congruent to 1 modulo 4. Therefore 461 upon 773 will be opposite, 773 upon 461, and this is congruent to 312 upon 461, and 312 can be written as 2 cube into 3 into 13. So this is equal to 2 into 3 into 13, because 2 square can be deleted. So this is 2 upon 461 into 3 upon 461 into 13 upon 461. Now this 2 upon 461 is minus 1. This can be written as 461 upon 3. This can be written as 461 upon 13. So then this is congruent to 2 under modulo 3. This is congruent to 6 modulo 13. So this is minus 1 into minus 1 into 2 upon 13 into 6 into 3 upon 13. So this is minus 1 into 3 upon 13, and this is equal to minus 1 into 13 upon 3, as 13 is congruent to 1 modulo 4. So therefore this is minus 1 into 1 upon 13 and this is minus 1. So therefore 461 upon 773 has value minus 1. Then we have this 1, 2, 3, 4 upon 4, 5, 6, 7. So 1, 2, 3, 4 can be written as 2 into 6, 1, 7, and 4, 5, 6, 7 is congruent to 3 modulo 4. And 6, 1, 7 is congruent to 1 modulo 4. Therefore, this symbol is equal to 2 upon 4, 5, 6, 7 into 617 upon 4, 5, 6, 7. So this is equal to 1 into 4, 5, 6, 7 upon 617, as this 4, 5, 6, 7 is congruent to 7 modulo 8. So this has value 1. Now this is equal to 248 upon 617, and this can be written as 2 cube into 31, and 2 square can be deleted. So this is 2 upon 617 into 31 upon 617, and this is again has value 1, as 617 is congruent to 1 modulo 8, and this is 31 upon 617. So this can be written as 617 upon 31, which is 28 upon 31, and 28 can be written as 4 into 7. So 4 can be deleted. Then we are left with 7 upon 31. Then again, because 7 is congruent to 3 modulo 4, 31 is also congruent to 3 modulo 4. So this is equal to minus 3 upon 7. This is 7 upon 3, and this is equal to 1 upon 3, which is 1. So this Legendre symbol has value 1. So this we are done with today's lecture. Let us see what things we have done in this lecture. So first of all, we have seen Legendre symbol. We defined what is Legendre symbol. Then we have solved many questions on Legendre symbol, and using different properties of Legendre symbol, using different results of symbol. Next, to know whether the value of a Legendre symbol P upon Q can be determined if the value of Q upon P is known. That is, we have seen quadratic reciprocity law. Then we have used many questions on reciprocity law also. Different results which help in calculating the value of a Legendre symbol. We have seen different results. You have to just remember which result is to be used where. Solving quadratic congruence with composite moduli, we have also seen this. So these are the points which we have discussed in today's lecture. So with this lecture, we are done with the Legendre symbol and the quadratic reciprocity law. In this today's lecture, we have seen chapter 9 of this book, Elementary Number Theory by David M. Burton. Thank you. And in the next lecture, we will start the next module of number theory, and we are going to see about cryptography in our next lecture. So thank you so much.